Sometimes people take up simple-looking jobs, totally unaware that every task they're doing is controlled by someone that could end their lives at any moment. I thought I'd found the easiest night job in the world. Just me, a clipboard, and a warehouse full of crates. But by the end of the second week, I realized the crates weren't what they were protecting. I got the job through a friend's cousin. No interview, no forms, just an address and a text saying, "Show up at 10, they pay cash." The warehouse sat miles outside town, surrounded by fences and floodlights that never turned off. Inside, it smelled like oil, dust, and something faintly chemical. All I had to do was check off the serial numbers on a clipboard and leave the sheet by the office door before dawn. For a few nights, it felt peaceful. The silence, the hum of the lights, the easy money. Until I noticed the crates had no barcodes, no labels, just numbers written in red marker. And the numbers changed. One night, the rows were renumbered. Entire sections of crates disappeared without a sound. Another night, a black van idled outside the loading bay. When I went to check it out, it was gone. No tire marks, no noise. The next day, I looked up the company printed on my pay envelope. Harker Logistics. No website, no records, not even a mention in the business registry. It didn't exist. That night, when I got to work, there was a new note clipped to my clipboard. "Keep your head down. Do not touch the crates." The handwriting wasn't the same as before. Halfway through my shift, I heard footsteps between the aisles. Slow, careful, not mine. The motion lights flicked on one by one, following something moving closer. I called out. Nothing. Just the faint scrape of wood, the smell of gasoline, and then a shadow ducking behind a crate. I ran, didn't even clock out. The next morning, I went back. The gate padlock was new, my key didn't fit anymore, and when I texted the number that hired me, it was disconnected. 2 days later, I got an unmarked envelope slipped under my apartment door. Inside was a photo. Me, taken from inside the warehouse, my back turned, clipboard in hand. On the back, someone had written, "You don't quit this kind of job." Now, every night, a black SUV idles across the street from my building. It never stays long, just enough to remind me they know where I live. They told me never to patrol Dock 13 after midnight. Now I understand why. I worked the night shift at a private marina about an hour outside the city. Easy money, quiet nights, just watching over rich people's boats. The owner, Mr. Cardenas, gave me one rule when I started. Stay clear of Dock 13 after midnight, no exceptions. He said it casually, but his eyes didn't match his tone. They were cold, like he was warning me, not instructing me. Most nights were uneventful. The docks creaked, the water lapped against the pylons, and I'd sip coffee while checking cameras in the booth. Dock 13 was always pitch black. Its floodlight had been broken for years, apparently. I never saw anyone dock there. But on my third week, just past 1 a.m., the cameras glitched for the first time. Static. When the feed cleared, I saw movement. Headlights bouncing off the waves near Dock 13. I thought it might be vandals or smugglers, so I grabbed my flashlight and went down the boardwalk. The air was freezing, heavy with the smell of diesel and salt. As I got closer, I heard muffled voices, men whispering in Spanish. Then the wet thud of something heavy hitting the wood. I turned off my light and crouched behind a stack of barrels. My heart was hammering. From where I hid, I could see them. 3 men hauling large shapes from a boat wrapped in black plastic. The shapes were too big, too human. Each one made a dull slap when dropped on the dock. They worked fast, speaking low, one of them scanning the area with a flashlight. I remember one line clearly, "If they float up again, we'll deal with it." That's when my radio crackled, loud, sudden, cutting through the silence. All 3 heads snapped toward me. I ran. Didn't look back. My boots thundered on the dock, the boards shaking under me. I could hear them shouting, chasing, until I dove into the guard booth and slammed the door. By morning, Dock 13 was empty again. No boats, no footprints, no signs anyone had been there. Even the camera footage from that night was gone, deleted. Mr. Cardenas showed up later that afternoon. He put an envelope of cash on my desk and said quietly, "You don't need to come back tonight." When I got home, there was another envelope taped to my apartment door. No return address. Inside was a photo, me, crouched behind those barrels, flashlight in hand. On the back, in thick black ink, it said, "Next time, stay off Dock 13. We thought we were just cleaning an old empty hotel, but that night, we realized some rooms were never meant to be seen. I took the job because the pay was good and the hours were quiet. My buddy Marco and I were hired by a private company to detail an abandoned hotel on the edge of town. They said it was being prepped for renovation and needed weekly cleaning to keep mold and dust under control. Every Friday night, we'd clock in at 10 p.m., mop the cracked marble floors, and wipe down the same rooms. Nobody ever checked our work, just envelopes of cash left in the lobby each week. Still, something about the place always felt wrong. The air inside was heavy, stale. The hallways stayed cold even in summer, and there was a humming sound coming from somewhere below the first floor that neither of us could locate. Marco used to joke that the hotel was haunted. I'd laugh it off, but the truth was it didn't feel abandoned. Some nights, I'd swear I heard footsteps echoing in rooms we hadn't touched yet. One night, we were cleaning near the old banquet hall when the power flickered and a section of plaster from the far wall cracked and crumbled. Behind it was a metal door, sealed shut with rivets. Marco, being Marco, wanted to see what was behind it. We pried it open with a crowbar and were hit by a wave of air so thick it made us gag. It reeked of chemicals and decay. Inside was a long, narrow room lit by a single flickering bulb. Metal tables lined the walls, dozens of them, each one covered in cloudy plastic sheets. Underneath, outlines, human outlines. Panic hit us, and we backed out slowly. But then I noticed movement. One of the shapes twitched. Not a reflex, not a dead twitch. Someone was breathing beneath the plastic. Before we could react, the lights above us flickered out completely. In the darkness, a low voice hissed, "You know too much." We ran blindly through the halls, slamming into furniture, hearts pounding. Every exit felt further away than the last. The hum we'd heard for weeks rose into a low, guttural growl, and shadowy figures moved just beyond our vision. We finally burst through a side door, gasping for air in the alley. Behind us, the hotel went silent again, too silent. We never returned. Weeks later, I drove past the hotel. The lights inside were on, clean, bright, completely normal. The front entrance even had a new "Now Open" sign. I didn't need to ask what they were doing. I could still feel the eyes watching from those hidden rooms, waiting for the next crew to walk in, unaware.